Psychologist Julian Jaynes was fascinated by how human consciousness came to exist. We are not only smarter than animals, we are also more self-aware. So how did this happen? How did ancient humans become conscious? Mr. Jaynes says they weren't conscious. And until recently, we were a race of schizophrenics. He theorizes that the brains of early man functioned as two separate entities, with the left side performing everyday tasks and the right side collating memories and experiences. Modern human brains are connected between the two hemispheres, but in the past, Jaynes says they were mostly split. We say mostly because Jaynes thinks they might have been connected through one now redundant part of our brain's language region. He believes this rudimentary bridge between our hemispheres would have caused early man to hear noise hallucinations, and that our early culture was derived from the shared discussion of what these voices meant. He even asserts that these sounds were responsible for the creation of gods and religion, and that the fully linked brain was only established in recent human history, after complex societies began to form. And this leads us to the entry you've all been waiting for. For human brains to grow and intelligence to develop, there had to be an evolutionary cause or reason behind this change. So what was it? Harvard biological anthropologist Richard Wrangham theorizes that the discovery of fire enabled us to boost our calorific intake by using it to cook meat. Cooked meat digests much easier and releases more calories, and more calories means more energy for brain growth. This has the knock-on effect of giving you more time to think, create, and explore, as opposed to our rivals, who had to spend all day foraging for low-calorie fruits and vegetables. Another theory links brain growth to bipedal movement. Scientists previously believed that walking on two limbs came as a result of our brain's development. Now, some think the opposite may be true. Humans became bipedal first, and the new way of moving forced the female birth canal to morph into a new shape. This new baby-making chamber allowed for the evolution of soft skulls in babies. And, in turn, this meant that baby brains could continue growing for 2 years after birth. How bipedal movement, or indeed the discovery of fire, came about is uncertain. Both of these could have arisen from a random occurrence, because the reality is, human supersmarts might be the result of a simple mistake. You cannot separate the emergence of human intelligence from the brain. Our chunk of bone-wrapped gray matter is nearly double that of mammals with a similar body size, and over the past 7 million years, our brains have grown 3 times bigger, with much of this occurring in the past 2 million years alone. But our brains weren't simply cultivating mass. They were growing in certain areas to give us an advantage over other species. Our early ancestors saw their neocortexes expand, and while this part of the brain was originally devoted to processing visual information, we now use it to form language, emotions, and a sense of self as well. Later developments saw our brains improve their ability to solve problems, plan ahead, and work with others. But why did this happen? What caused our brains to start growing so much larger than our rival primates? The brain consumes more energy than any other tissue of equivalent size in the human body. If it were a random process on Task Manager, you'd shut down this resource-hogging software in a second. But curiously, overall, human beings burn roughly the same amount of calories as primates of similar size. So how does our body cope with this huge brain drain? In 1995, Leslie Aiello and Peter Wheeler speculated that human bodies started diverting energy away from other processes to fuel our burgeoning brains. One place we humans are lacking in comparison to primates is muscle mass. Check out this ripped fella, for example. He'd take your girl, your mom, and your heart with a single flex of his pecs. So, in exchange for being hunky monkeys, humans became smart instead. But what prompted this change? Evolution can occur as either microevolution, which involves tiny changes over a long time, or macroevolution, whereby huge, sudden changes occur very quickly. The former could easily be the main reason for humans being so intelligent, with lots of little advancements coming as a result of brain-boosting behaviors such as cooking and bipedal movement. But it's also possible that one genetic freak may have been born with superintelligence, possibly mitochondrial Eve, and it was this mutation which later spread to the entire human race. One such mutation may have been the duplication of the gene SRGAP2, a gene literally called the humanity switch, and is responsible for the rapid evolution of the human neocortex. So, was the evolution of human intelligence a complete mistake? Was it destined to happen? Or was this gene deliberately placed in our DNA somehow?